Rubber burning engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hyper shift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hyper shift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafting on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hyper shift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hyper shift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take.
Woo! Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here this evening as another amazing Thursday night of racing action here at the Hyper Shift Racing League, as each and every one of these drivers looking to try to put themselves up and into victory lane here at Michigan International Speedway, as it is the Victory Fuel 200 here this evening. Each driver for 200 miles today, or at least hoping to make it 200 miles. There are no quick repairs, so if you run into an issue, if you run into problems, you could be done and out of this race in a quick hurry. But if you can keep yourself clean and green, try to stay out of trouble. We got 100 laps of amazing racing action here at this 2-mile long behemoth here this evening, as we do see all these drivers have been sliding out there on the racetrack as qualifying underway and about to come to a close, and that will get us set up and ready to rumble here for our A-Main feature event. The A-Main just around the corner here, so everyone gonna get ready to rock and roll as Mr. Wicker, what's good, Dalton? Mr. Wicker coming in says, let's go, Peace, let's go, Dalton, let's get it. Trina says, let's go, Zofeld team. Cheered on Chris Zofeld here today as 213 Simware coming in with the like and the share. Hypershift Racing League also coming in with that like and the share as well over there on Facebook, coming in showing all the love here this evening as we'll get these drivers stacked up, racked up, and ready to go to battle for what is going to be another amazing show, another amazing race. And this is not, I wouldn't say necessarily one of my favorite tracks, but it's one of the good ones that we come to here with these NASCAR Cup cars. Seems like we get a lot of good green flag racing here. Makes it very interesting, but being so big and wide, we can see a lot of 2 wide, 3 wide, even a bit of 4 and 5 wide racing action here at Michigan. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see what these drivers are able to do and how much the aero package here with these NASCAR Next Gens really kind of put into play here, as there's a lot of drivers that have been complaining, have been having a rough go with obviously trying to make passes and make moves around drivers, and if they can kind of get a little bit of an aero block on you, could potentially really hurt your chances of trying to complete a pass out there on the racetrack. As Kel says, let's go Dalton, cheered on Dalton here this evening, as Sean O'Keefe says, go number 36, drive it to the front, he says. Drive it to the front, cheered on Gage Wenzel here this evening, as let's go through the field for the start of our A main feature event. Is starting on the pole in the number 9 ride. It is Al Likens. Likens in that pole position. The Hooters 9 machine will start out in front. He'll have the 94 of Adam Boughton there to his outside. Starting in position number 3, it's the 95 ride here, teammate to the 94. That is the 95 of Anthony Ludi in the Adidas blue number 95. To his outside will be that Tom's Tasty Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches ride. It is the 36 of Gage Wenzel starting there in 4th. Starting in the 5th position in the Miller Light number 2, it is James Hudson. To his outside of the 18 ride, it is Michael Carter. Starting in the 7th position in the 20 ride, the Interstate Batteries machine, is Jeremiah Nelson. To his outside will be the 8 rider, Kent Mueller. Bringing up row number 5 will be the 51 of Zach Wilson. To his outside will be the 63 of Max Cost. And then we see the 34 of Drew King, Mr. Dylan Picklesheimer, the 45 there to his outside. Jaden Newsom back there in 13th with Chris Sofeld. Dalton Wicker there in 15th. And we see Justin Hendry, Jonathan Cogswell, Tyler Chronister, Scott Shive, Michael Sheffield, Daryl Johnson, and J.J. Moore was supposed to be bringing up the rear of the field, but does not look like he's out there, as we will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here from Michigan. As the 9 ride looks to try to clear the 94. Likens out in front. Can he close the door on the 94 of Boughton? Looks like he'll be able to carry that speed and momentum down the back straightaway in front of the 94. And it's Al Likens who's out in front, but now he washes up the racetrack. Here comes a big run down low. We'll see if any of these drivers can keep their foot in the throttle, as that's going to be the name of the game here for a lot of this race. It's all momentum based when we come to a racetrack like Michigan. You gotta keep your foot in the throttle. The less time you gotta roll off that throttle is the more time you're onto that gas pedal. You gotta carry that speed, that momentum up, and use it for these straightaways to make moves, to make passes, and hope that you can get a little bit of drafting up. You get a little bit of help down the straightaways here. If you get a car or two behind you, you start pushing and shoving a little bit. If they get a bit better run than you, they can really help you out and save you from falling backwards. But that's where we tend to see some issues, and a little bit of that contact leads to some of our caution flags out there on the racetrack. But right now it's all Al Likens here, as Likens out in front. Gage Wenzel there in second. Boughton slides back to third. Ludi there in fourth, and then we see a great battle brewing back here for that 5th position. It's Michael Carter up on the high side. Down low, it's the 20 of Jeremiah Nelson, and right in the middle of it is that 2 rider James Hudson, as we do see our first caution flag of the day. So our first yellow flag here this evening, and I'm not sure, it looks like potentially the 51 ride getting collected here in it. Let's take a look here. So this is the 51 of Zach Wilson. Looks like contact right there between Wilson and the 99 of Tyler Chronister. Gets Wilson slideways on the racetrack, up and in to that outside fence. Pretty solid hit here to start this race. Definitely not the spot that the 51 wanted to be in. That is going to put him down pit side. It could be potentially down there for a little while. Some damage there as well for Jaden Newsom. But let's take a look at this 51. See, the contact is pretty solid. You know, right rear damage and right front damage here with no quick repairs. That could keep him down pit side for a little extra time throughout this caution flag. Trying to get this car fixed up, trying to get it back to where it's A-okay and being able to race and compete again here this evening. We also saw Dalton Wicker have to come down pit side. Now let's take a look at Wicker's ride, as he's got the West Alice number 77 ride hooked up here today. Normally we see him in the Tiny Toes ride, but he messaged me earlier And we want to give a huge shout out here to Mr. Winker. Beautiful, beautiful looking race car here this evening. And it's going to be a paint scheme for West Allis here. West Allis WI. What is WI? Is that Wisconsin? I think so, something like that, or Milwaukee, I'm not sure. It is close to where Milwaukee Mile is located, and unfortunately much of Milwaukee area was hit with a bad flooding this last weekend, including West Allis, where his mom is located, and unfortunately everything in their home had to be kind of thrown away. They had sewer water all throughout that town, and unfortunately it was pretty much the entire basement, waist high up on the main floor, and unfortunately they've been working hard getting things carried out to the curb and getting things out of there, as basically about 25 homes in the neighborhood had foundations crumble. Every home in the area received zero to minimal insurance help as well. So that is absolutely heartbreaking. Our thoughts and our prayers go to everyone affected by that, and everyone in the West Allis location. We're all praying for you guys and hoping that you guys can get some help, whether or not it's from the government or from the insurance companies themselves, to help you guys out and hopefully bring you guys some good news here in the next little while. So huge shout out there to Wicker, sporting that paint scheme, having West Allis on the ride here this evening, as we'll get them all ready to rumble here again, and they'll get ready to go to battle. We do see Zach Wilson still down pit side trying to get that 51 ride fixed up and back together, but right now he's stuck down pit road getting every little bit of service that he can, as we'll get ready to see him go back to green flag racing. We'll get ready to go back to battle here in just a few more moments, as yo, what's good, Steven Stokes coming in, showing that love as well over there on Facebook, dropping the like on the stream. I appreciate that, brother, showing the love here this evening. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, man. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button here this evening, and make sure you guys let us know where you're watching from. Jump in the comment section right now. Let us know the area that you're from. Let us know who you're supporting here this evening on the racetrack, as we always like to know where our viewers are tuning in and watching our amazing races. As Kel says, yes, they got hit hard with flooding. Lots of people lost everything. Very sad. Yeah, definitely very, very sad. We hate to see that, man, and it's becoming more and more of a regular thing. Me and Dalton talked about it, man. It seems like every week there's some, basically generational flooding that's happening in different parts of the U.S. over the last little while, man, and it's absolutely heartbreaking that that continues to happen. And I said to him, man, up here in Ontario where I live, we haven't really seen rain other than little tiny bits here and there, but not enough to even get the grass wet, really, or cover the pavement. But we haven't had rain up here for, it's got to be 2 months since we had a good solid long rain. We need that longevity. We need the grass to grow, and haven't really had lots of that. And unfortunately, your boy's been missing out on some work and everything else because of that. So it's been kind of sucky, but we don't wish Mother Nature, man, is a fickle bitch, and unfortunately, some people don't understand that, hurricanes and flooding and that stuff, man, it's more devastating than, honestly, what a nuke is. It can wipe out everything in an instant, and it's tough to hear. But here we go. Back to green flag racing here this evening from the beautiful MIS, as the Michigan International Speedway are home to the Hypershift Racing League here this evening, as Al Likens leads us once again down into corner number 1. Another great restart there for that 9 ride, as he looks to hold off that 36 of Gage Wenzel. Anthony Ludi able to slide up in front of his teammate here, and Adam Bounton slides back to 4th. So Bounton there in that 4th position, but 3 of that team right there together is the 18 of Michael Carter, trying to hold on to a top 5 as of right now. But here comes Dylan Picklesheimer. Picklesheimer in the Monster Energy number 45 ride, slowly but surely working his way up towards the front. Same with this 54 of Justin Hendry. Hendry right there as well, sliding forward here, now up 9 positions on the racetrack, and is currently our hard charger so far here this evening. He may not be done, as he's already looking to get into the battle here with that 45 of Picklesheimer and the 18 of Michael Carter, and now the big question is going to be, whether or not tires are going to be playing a big factor here this evening. As Aaron Spear, what's good, Aaron? Aaron coming in, show the love, says, wish I could have made it tonight. Had laser surgery on my eye. Hopefully looking to be back next week. Brother, that sucks, man. That sucks. We miss you out there on the racetrack. We wish you were out here joining us and enjoying some of the amazing racing action here this evening, brother. But you heal up, you get better, and we hope to see you back out here as soon as possible. But don't rush it. Don't put yourself into a bad situation to make things worse, man. Just take it easy. Do what the doctors tell you, man. Hopefully everything will be okay, and we'll get you back out here sooner rather than later. But, man, good to see you in the chat, though. Good to see you in the chat. Still cheering these guys on. Still showing this league some amazing support, whether or not you're out there on the racetrack or you have to take a step back. You're tuning in, watching these guys duke it out here this evening. As Al Likens right now looks to be a man on a mission here, as he's been out in front. Obviously a few caution laps there, but he is still holding off Gage Wenzel in the rest of this field, doing a fantastic job at the front of the pack. And now Aaron, he's one of the drivers in the series. I'm sure he could probably let us know here in the comments section, how much the tire wear really affects these cars here at Michigan. I feel like we're going to see quite a bit of tire fall off. The old concrete that we normally see, whether it's at Dover or some of these other concrete style racetracks, really seems to chew these tires up. It really does seem that it kind of grinds them away and just kind of slowly but surely makes these tires just go away out there on the racetrack. So, Corey, what's good? Corey Dank in the chat as well. What's good, Corey? Corey says, sup, Aaron? Let's get Dalton a win here. Corey, was that the Aaron Spear in the chat or me up in the booth, brother? I don't know which one. We're both AA-Rons. We're both AA-Rons. As out in front, it is the 9 Ryan still holding down the fort. We take a look a little farther back at that beautiful West Alice ride as the 77 of Dalton Wicker slowly but surely trying to battle back here. We got blessed with that caution flag that came out. Had to make a pass-through penalty, I do believe, as he came down pit road on lap number 1 or 2 there, and he was falling quite a ways back. He was at the rear of the field, was in a position to potentially be the first car to go a lap down here. We saw clean and green racing, but now with that yellow flag, it gets him right back into the battle, and here he is navigating his way now inside the top 10 this evening. So Wicker up and into that 10th position. Daryl Johnson right there behind him. Daryl in that Red Dead Redemption number 2 Busch Latte ride. He's worked his way up about 10 spots on the speedway from the rear of the field, now just outside the top 10 here this evening. As Corey says, you buddy, okay, I appreciate that, Corey. I appreciate that. As Aaron Spear says, tire wear is massive. The fuel to tire balance is a whole part of the strategy. Have to take care of both. There we go. You hear from one of our drivers right there, Chad. Fuel and tire strategy going to play a major role in factor here this evening. Now, the big news is that I do believe these guys have 5 sets of tires. If I read that correctly in our chat, that there is a lot of tires here. So potentially seeing 20 lap runs. Does any driver take that opportunity to break it down into 20 lap segments, come down to lap 20, lap 40, lap 60, and then lap 80, and kind of just continuously getting that top up of fuel and getting that top up of tires? Or do we see them try to stretch it a little bit farther, try to go towards lap 30, maybe, if they can make it on fuel, 32, 33, maybe somewhere in there, and trying to make it into only a 2-stop race, where if you come down pit road around, lap 33, you come back down pit road around, lap number 70, maybe, if you can make it to lap 35, lap 70, then you only got a 30-lap run to finish it off, maybe 31, 32 laps, so it's definitely potential, and if fuel can keep up and these drivers can keep that fuel underneath of them, then maybe they can work their way there. Maybe they can put themselves into that position to race their way into victory lane by taking just a shorter style of a pit stop here, or different pit strategy throughout the day, trying to save that fuel, trying to save those tires, and just trying to make it a little longer. I feel like tire wear and everything else is going to play bigger factors. They only got 75% 75% of a fuel mileage run, so I'm not sure how long they're really going to be able to make it here on this 2-mile monster to be able to make it around, but they do have those 5 sets of tires, and that could be the saving grace for a lot of these cats. Could be the big saving grace for a lot of them here this evening. As we did see Zach Wilson already a lap or two down after that contact into the outside fence to bring out our first caution flag. Now we do see Zach Wilson back down pit road here, so the Rogue 51 ride going a little rogue here, obviously already a lap or so down, and now giving up another lap or two out there on the racetrack, making this pit stop. We'll see if this is just part of the strategy here for the 51, trying to work his way back a lap here, put himself into a position to be in that lucky dog spot, but right now he is going to lose another lap as there goes Al Likens, Gage Wenzel, Anthony Ludi, and the rest of our field around that 51 is out in front. It's Al Likens still holding down the 40. He's been holding off that 36 of Gage Wenzel, but Wenzel has been right there hounding his back bumper, and the 95 ride of Anthony Ludi has been kind of helping out this number 36 ride, as a couple times we've seen him kind of fall back a little bit into the grasp of this 95. Now normally some drivers, especially later in the race when one car has to fall back, maybe you make that move to get around them and try to steal the spot away from them, but Ludi's been kind of just sticking to the back bumper of that 36 ride, has given Gage a couple new chances to try to jump up there and trying to steal that top spot away from Al Likens. And for Likens, he loves to see the car in behind this 95 ride. That is his teammate there, Dylan Pinkelsheimer, working his way inside the top 5, and Pinkelsheimer trying to work his way inside the top 3 here. I know they would love to try to get all their drivers up here towards the front to try to pick up the big win here today. It's going to make for some great racing action here, but right now the slightly dangerous racing group having some good runs here, navigating their way throughout the front of the field, as you do see obviously Likens still leading the way, Dylan Pinkelsheimer there in 4th, and then we see Jeremiah Johnson trying to battle his way back up towards the front there in 7th. James Hudson there in 9th. We saw Daryl Johnson up 10 positions there in 11th, with Chris Zofeld back in 12th. So all these drivers making some early moves, making some big calls, and making big plays out there on the speedway, and slowly but surely navigating their way up towards the front. Good to see Scott Shive back out there as well. Shive back out there onto the speedway here, looking good this evening as always, as the 81 ride looking to continue to keep on battling, trying to race his way up towards the front of the field as the number 81 ride here this evening in the PFC breaks number 81 ride. The Dirty Mo Media Machine up and into position number 19 right now, and unfortunately pretty deep in the pack, but this may be just a part of the plan, maybe part of the strategy here this evening. We may see a few drivers just elect to try to stretch that fuel out, trying to run a different style of a race here, like we talked about with those fuel strategy calls, and everyone trying to be on different wavelengths here on what they need to do or how they need to try to put themselves up and into victory lane, whether or not that's through, making moves down pit road or different strategies coming down pit side, or just having the speed out there on the racetrack, as we do see, Anthony Ludi and now Adam Boughton battling here for that 3rd position, as unfortunately for the 45 of Dylan Pinkelsheimer all of a sudden slides all the way back into that 8th position, and looks like he may continue to slide backwards here as Jeremiah Nelson, he's now on to the loud pedal here. He's inside the top 5 this evening, and he's looking to try to join this fight up towards the front of the field, as this is part of the tire saving that we kind of talked about there. A lot of drivers early on taking it easy, trying to take care of their equipment. Now a little later into this run, as some drivers have been burning up their stuff, have been working hard out there on the racetrack and potentially wearing out their tires a little bit more. The drivers that have been easier on their equipment starting to navigate their way back up towards the front here, and that's exactly where you see Jeremiah Nelson rolling right now in that 5th position. But everybody still hunting down this 9 ride of Al Likens, as Likens has been out in front here. He's been that reflection of perfection here for our first 22 laps of this race. His 22 laps now completed here this evening is Ronnie, Mr. Stewart. What's good, Ronnie? Ronnie says, what's up, Peacemaker? What's up, Ronnie? How are you, brother? How you doing today? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Thursday night, as, man, some great racing out there, man. obviously one caution flag early in this race, just a little bit of rubbing and scrubbing a little bit too far into corner number 1 and 2 for the 99 ride, and unfortunately, as the 99 got in there a little too far, made some contact with Zach Wilson. Chronister probably not going to feel very good about that, going to feel definitely a little down in the dumps. Obviously, none of these drivers like to make contact with one another. None of these drivers like to see something like that happen to one of their fellow competitors, and unfortunately for Zach Wilson, looks like Wilson is actually taking this car off the racetrack. So we try to play maybe a little strategy by coming down pit road there back on lap 14. And it looks like since then, you know, he rolled back out for a little bit. And then he's taking this car back down behind pit wall and out of this race. So it looks like that damage may have been a little bit more extensive than what we thought it was. And for the 51, looks like his night is over now, as he is now at least over or about to be 10 laps down out there on the racetrack, and obviously still not rolling out there. So this could be the end of the night for Zach Wilson, as Gage Wenzel making the move. Wenzel able to jump to the outside here of the 9 ride, and it looks like that time across the start finish line, Wenzel was able to jump up and take the race lead away from Al Likens, but Likens says, I'm not done yet. I'm going to continue to battle here, as he is now sliding backwards. The big run on the outside lane for the 36 of Gage Wenzel, as Wenzel looking to take the lead. Now he's going to cut back down underneath from the 9 ride, drives it in deep, washes up the racetrack, and Gage get a big run down the front straightaways there again, door to door here, and it looks like that 36 is going to clear him just barely, but here comes that 94 of Boughton. Adam Boughton in the Coke 094 ride. Season opening, pokes his nose into that battle. Now he's looking to take over this race lead here this evening. So Boughton, who kind of fell back a little bit early on, kind of slid back into about that 4th, 5th, 6th position there for a while, but now here he is looking to try to battle and dice things up here at the front of the field, as the 213 Simware ride rolls there in that 3rd position. You look to try to get another drive around this 9 ride of Al Likens, and hoping that he can jump up and join that battle with Gage Wenzel for the race lead. Jeremiah Nelson there in position number 4 and looking for more. He continues his drive up towards the front of the field here. Didn't really do much throughout the first, 15, 20 laps of this race, but kind of once he got that green light, once he saw that maybe he was good on fuel to where his numbers are, and he's able to put his car up for grabs here and able to make some big moves, and playing a little bit on the dangerous side, making some of the moves, but man, it is exciting to watch as he's been navigating his way up through the field and now back inside the top 4s. Now we do see the 9 ride. Oh, big hit there into the outside fence for Al Likens. That will give Boughton that 2nd spot. Unfortunately for Al, he will slide back to 3rd here, and with that little bit of momentum lost, that little bit of damage, we'll have to wait and see how that affects his cars. Now here comes Mr. Anthony Ludi. Here comes that 20 rider, Jeremiah Nelson. Justin Hendry right there, ready to bounce as well, as the Just Ride rolls there in position number 6. Dalton Wicker, we talked about him at the top of the show. Unfortunately for Wicker, had to make a pass-through penalty, I do believe, early in this race. And for the 77 ride, after getting that early caution flag, was able to join up at the tail end of the field, and now has drove his way up and into the 7th position. So it's all 7s here for the 77 as he rolls in that 7th spot on the racetrack. Dylan Picklesheimer, who we saw battling up there inside our top 5 and then fell back quickly, still holding on to the 8th position. You gotta wonder if maybe potentially going too hard too early for that 45 ride. Burned up his tires, burned up his stuff here too soon in this race. James Hudson rolls there in 9th. Michael Carter back there in 10th. Kent Mueller there in 11th with Chris Zofeld. Zofeld in that beautiful Tide Pods number 11 ride, rolling back there in about that 12th, 13th position as Max Goss right down to his inside, trying to take that Chevrolet up and inside the top 12 here this evening. Looks like he will make that pass on Chris Zofeld, so moves Zofeld back to 13th. Tyler Chronister, the driver that we saw make the contact there and cause our first caution flag here this evening, as he got a little too far right there in corner number 1 and 2. Made contact with the 51 ride, and that shoved the 51 of Zach Wilson around and up and into the outside fence. Unfortunately, it looks like Wilson's day is done, but Chronister battling here for that 13th spot now. Chris Zofeld trying to hang on to it. Now here comes Jonathan Cogswell, the 4 rider Daryl Johnson. We saw Johnson up inside the top 10. He was up double-digit positions from the drop of this green flag, and unfortunately for Johnson, he is now starting to fall back a little bit more here. Now sits in about the 16th position as Drew King, Scott Shive, Michael Sheffield, and now Jaden Newson bringing up the rear of the field here of our top 20. As Wilson and J.J. Moore down and off the racetrack and behind pit wall here this evening. There's only 20 drivers left to duke it out here this evening for our checkered flag. As Rodney says, them boys driving. He says they are driving. There's no holding back here in the Hyper Shift Racing League. As Rodney says, lucky sevens. The lucky sevens out there for Dalton Wicker. And for Dalton, he's definitely want some lucky sevens with that West Allis paint scheme here this evening. West Allis, as we talked about earlier, got hit by some massive flooding over the last weekend, and he's been working hard trying to get his mom's house kind of cleaned out and everything else, as their house was entirely flooded, and unfortunately a lot of houses there got swept away. A lot of houses there had foundation problems, and a lot of people lost their homes, which is absolutely heartbreaking, but we love to see that he's got the West Allis paint scheme here this evening, just showing his love to all of the West Allis and all the families and friends and everyone that was affected there by these floodings, as he's rolling there. The lucky sevens in position number 7 right now as he's trying to work his way up towards the front of the field. Would love to put that car and its meaning up and into victory lane here this evening, as Gage Wenzel still out in front though. Once Wenzel kind of took over that race lead, he's been sticking right there, and now we do start to see a couple drivers navigating their way down pit side. So we did see Jaden Newson down pit road. We saw Chris Zofeld also down pit side. So a couple drivers from a little deeper in the field are the first to come down pit road here. Now we did see some drivers like Kent Mueller during that first caution flag came down pit road as well. Got fuel, didn't really take any tires, but got some fuel into their ride. So for Kent Mueller, rolling there in 10th right now, he's got 5 lap better tires than everyone in front of him. Chronister, he came down pit road on lap 4. Drew King, Daryl Johnson, Scott Shive, all down pit road there on lap number 4. So potentially getting that extra little bit of fuel into these race cars may stretch it out a little bit farther, may give them a better opportunity here, as we did talk about some of that fuel mileage strategy that a lot of these drivers are going to be trying to play here this evening, trying to make this just a 2-stop race. Even though they got 5 sets of tires back behind pit wall, that's probably what we're going to see a lot of here this evening. Everyone's trying to make their numbers here, trying to make this a 2-stop race this evening, and I think they're kind of right at it, as we do see Dylan Picklesheimer down pit side now, Michael Carter also down pit road, so a few more drivers making those hard left-hand turns down pit side and looking to try to get that early jump, that early advantage with the fresher tires here this evening. As Gage Wenzel, though, still out in front, looks like he will do at least another lap, as they have completed 35 laps here today. So 35 laps off the board here. Now, if they came down pit road on this lap, if they were to come down pit road right now, it's virtually kind of the numbers that you're looking for here. If they can do 35 laps now, they can do 35 laps during our second stint here of green flag racing, put them somewhere around lap number 70, where that should give them the green light to where they can come down pit road and not have to make another green flag pit stop here. So everyone's trying to run that 2-stop strategy, and we'll have to wait and see how it works out for them. As here comes Gage Wenzel, here comes Anthony Ludy, Justin Hendry, Dalton Wicker, James Hudson, pretty much everybody headed down pit road. Here comes Max Koss, Tyler Chronister, we saw already down pit road the lap before. Here comes a Michael Sheffield. Here comes Drew King back out there onto the track, as a couple of these drivers making a little earlier pit stops than others, but some of them, man, they're going to be headed down pit road right now. And a big mistake right there for Anthony Ludy. Got in a little too far, slid through his pit stall, had to throw that car into reverse, and unfortunately that second or two can cost him a ton of track time here this evening, as there goes what was our race leader, Gage Wenzel, already around him. There goes the 77 of Dalton Wicker as well. So it looks like Wicker may at least gain a position down pit road with that mistake from Anthony Ludies. Here comes Adam Boughton. Here comes Al Likens, Jeremiah Nelson. They head down pit side as another 3-car pack as it gives the race lead over to this 8 rider, Kent Mueller. Mueller now out in front, leading the way. Jonathan Cogswell there in second with Scott Shive back in third. Daryl Johnson there in position number 4 and looking for more here this evening. Now for Shive, Daryl Johnson and Kent Mueller, they can make it quite a ways longer here than a lot of these other drivers. When we looked at them and how they hadn't made pit stops, they have made a pit stop. At least 4 to 5 lap better on that fuel mileage here this evening for Kent Mueller, Daryl Johnson, and Scott Shive. But it looks like Shive going to give that up, and he's going to head down pit side here himself, so just ran a couple laps longer. But for Mueller and Johnson, they're going to try to play the opposite end of this, try to go a little bit longer here and hope that it can really help them out here today. So you see Cogswell, Shive down pit side, Mueller leading this race. Daryl Johnson back in position number 2 as things will cycle back through. It is Gage Wenzel who will reconsume the race lead here. Wenzel will be out in front once again once we see everyone come down pit side, and then we see Dalton Wicker up and into second here. So a great pit stop there for that 77 ride. And for Dalton Wicker, he will now be scored in position number 2 here this evening. Al Likens back there in third, and then we see Adam Boughton, Dylan Picklesheimer, Anthony Ludi back in about the 6th position now with Jeremiah Nelson, Michael Carter, Justin Hendry, and what would be James Hudson rounding out our top 10 as we did see Ken Mueller down pit side to get his car work done and rolling back out there onto the speedway. Daryl Johnson, though, he's still electing to roll out there a little bit longer. It has now been about 40 laps of green flag racing here this evening. So 40 laps completed, 60 laps left to go here today. As Ronnie Stewart says, I know disaster, I sent my prayers. Yeah, absolutely, brother. Everyone sent your prayers to all the people affected, man. There's been so many floods lately down in the U.S., so many floods, natural disasters, so many things going wrong, man, and we just hope that everyone gets the help that they need and everyone gets back onto their feet and stays healthy and safe and out of trouble and everything else, and hopefully things get cleaned up and fixed and back to the way the world used to be, you know, going back, I don't know, let's say 20, 30 years ago. I'd say 30 years ago would be real nice right about now. Take us back to the 90s, man. Take us back to the 90s. Let us get some, cheap grocery prices, cheap fuel, cheap everything. Crash the housing market so that the younger people can afford a home. I would love to buy a house, but I don't think I'll ever be able to afford one. That is for certain. But we do see Daryl Johnson finally biting the bullet and comes down pit side here in that Red Dead Redemption number 2 ride as the Busch Beer heads down pit road, looking to get those tires, looking to get that fuel, and will roll back out onto the racetrack. As he does, it does cycle the Tom Stacy Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches 24-30 ride of Gage Wenzel back out in front. So Wenzel leading this race once again out in front. There's Dalton Wicker in position number 2. Now Al Likens came down pit road about a lap after these guys did, so he does have about a lap better of tire here, and he's looking to try to use that to his advantage. So isn't Adam Boughton there in position number 4. For Dylan Picklesheimer, came down pit road there on lap number 34. Now he's got about 2, 3, 4 lap older tires than a lot of these drivers around him, and unfortunately may slide back a little farther than what he's hoping for throughout this run. As Ludi, Jeremiah Nelson right there closing the gap on him. Michael Carter in the same boat came down pit road on lap 34, one of the first drivers to come down pit side. Unfortunately did not get much of an advantage out there on the racetrack, and now unfortunately may feel the consequences of those older tires and falling backwards here on the field. As there goes Justin Hendry. We do see Ken Mueller, who was our race leader there for a little while, came down pit road later than virtually everybody else back on lap 39, and here's Ken Mueller up inside the top 10, has the better tires. Can he he makes some moves and rakes his way up towards the front of the field here this evening. As a lot of different strategy, a lot of drivers kind of rolling different game plans out there on the speedway, and as of right now, it's all working out for this. In number 36, Gage Wenzel, as Wenzel continues to lead the way. We are about to click off lap 44 here this evening, so about 44 laps already done here today, and these drivers are clicking the laps off in an absolutely amazing pace, man. They are absolutely flying around this speedway, putting down the laps, putting themselves into some good positions, making some great moves out there on the racetrack. Is Linda O'Keefe? What's good, Linda? Linda coming in, showing the love, says, let's go, Gage. Cheering on that 36 ride out there on the speedway as Gage Wenzel out in front, showing them all how to get it done here this evening. As back behind him, Al Likens is able to complete that pass, make the move around Dalton Wicker. So Wicker slides back into position number 3, but it may not be for long, as here comes Adam Boughton. Boughton able to work his way up and into this fight. He's looking to make some move, trying to get that zero sugar Coca-Cola ride back up inside the top 3, and hoping that he can work his way up towards the front of the field here, maybe steal this win away from Gage Wenzel. As Rodney says, clean and green. It's clean and green, baby. Clean and green racing is exactly what we like to see. Not a lot of caution flags, not a lot of issues or drama. So that's one good side of it, not having the drama or the a potential payback or anything else be an issue, man. Everyone just running clear-minded, clear thoughts, not having issues, and just running their race here this evening. And it's been just good, hard, clean racing all day so far here this evening. Only that one caution flag early in this race as the 99 rider Tyler Chronister got in a little too deep, made some contact with that left rear of the 51 ride, which spun him sideways and got the 51 of Zach Wilson up and into the outside fence. Unfortunately, that looks like it has ended his night. He has not rejoined this race, and unfortunately looks like his day is potentially done. We also see the 84 of Jonathan Cogswell. Cogswell making another additional pit stop here, and it looks like maybe a little right front damage here for that 84 ride, and it looks like he may stay down pit road here for an extended period of time. And this is a heartbreaker for that 84. You never like to see that. We never like to see one of our competitors down pit road, and unfortunately for Cogswell, I do believe this may take him out of the race, as he was down pit road on lap 44 and has not rolled back out onto the racetrack, and right now looking to be already about 3 laps down here in this one, as Sean O'Keefe says, stay up front, number 36. Oh, baby, he's trying, he's driving, and he's trying to keep these guys back there at bay, but here comes Al Likens, who led the first 23, 24 laps of this race before Gage was able to take it away from him. But now here comes that Hooters ride, battling back, looking to try to slide out in front, and you do see that West Dallas ride right behind them. Dalton Wicker, who just lost position number 2 to that 9 machine. He's right into this battle, so the drafting really starting to bring some of these other drivers into the picture, as you see Al Likens making the move down low. Looks like that Hooters ride will jump out in front here of that 36, and Gage Wenzel will slide back into second for the time being, but here he comes. Sorman back down to the inside, looking to try to take that race lead back away from this 9 machine. So Wenzel down low, he'll look to slide up in front of the 9 ride. The 9's looking for a big run out of corner number 4, but it looks like Wenzel able to hold him off and keep that race lead. So Gage Wenzel still out in front, and for the 9 of Likens, he'll have to try to mount another challenge. He'll have to try to make another move to work his way up and around this 36 ride. As we continue to click these laps off, we get closer and closer to our checkered flag here this evening, and some great racing here at the front of the field. These drivers doing an absolutely fantastic job of battling here today, man. They have been duking it out here at the front of the field. We've seen a lot of big runs, a lot of great drives here. Obviously, passing can get very, very tough, especially at a racetrack like Michigan. You can get very aero-tight. The aerodynamics have a lot to do with trying to keep drivers back behind you and try to dump some dirty air onto the hood of their car, try to side draft them or anything else to try to slow them down out there on the speedway, and try to keep yourself in a position to hold on to a position out there on the racetrack. If you're playing that defensive role, you're doing everything that you can to make that car behind you a little aero tight or a little arrow loose and try to slide them around and try to make them make mistakes where they cannot get around you, where if you're the car back behind them, you're trying to get a run. You're trying to find the speed that you can try to pull up door to door with them down the front straightaway here and hope to have some help to your back bumper, or just use that side draft and then pull away from them as they get slowed down enough that you can launch forward and take that race lead away. And we're going to see that throughout the evening. Everyone trying to figure out that happy medium position and trying to make these moves and try to get these drives to jump up to the front of the field. As Gage Wenzel continues to lead the way, you see him trying to break that draft a little bit there, giving the outside through the 9 run. I don't think he expected the 9 to have such a big run with the helping push from that 77 to Dalton Wicker, and for the 36, and drive it in there deep. He's going to wash up the racetrack. We'll have to wait and see if the 9 can make the move down low. Does not make it. I thought he'd get a much better drive off of corner number 4, but did not look like he got the run that he was hoping for. But now getting a big shove again at the end of the straightaway from that 77 to Dalton Wicker. That will move him down the track, and Likens trying to complete this pass down low. Does not look like he will get there. They're going to go door to door, though, down the back straightaway now. It's kind of all about where the 77 pushes in. Did not want to go with that 9 right, unfortunately, staying right there, glued towards the outside lane and really giving more help to that number 36 down the backstretch to help keep Gage Wenzel out in front right there. And as he's kind of trying to manage it and trying to get himself into that battle for the race lead for Dalton Wicker, he's got to play a little defense here himself. He's got Adam Boughton right there trying to launch his way around him, trying to put himself up and into this battle at the front of the field. And now for all these drivers, as they continue to duke it out, it's bringing in some more of our traffic here as Anthony Ludy's starting to reel these guys in. He's got Dylan Picklesheimer right there with them now, about 3 seconds back. We see our 7th place driver, Jeremiah Nelson. Nelson all the way back here in that 7th position, unfortunately quite a ways back off their back bumper, and he's trying to close that gap, wanting to jump into this battle. And for a lot of these drivers, it's all about just trying to survive, as we did see an unscheduled pit stop here for Max Cost as well. Cost coming down pit road right there around lap number 49, so an unscheduled pit stop for that 63 machine. And that's definitely going to put him a lap down here. Not a good spot to be, but he is in a lucky dog position where if we do see a caution flag, he should get the wave around and get back on to the lead lap here this evening. But definitely not the setback that Max Cost was looking for here today, as that's going to cost him big time out there on the racetrack. As out in front, still holding down the fort, it is Gage Wenzel. Wenzel still out in front, but we look farther throughout the field, we see Justin Hendry there in position number 8. Kent Mueller back there in 9th, with Michael Carter rounding out our top 10. Unfortunately for Carter, he was up inside the top 5 there for a little bit, battling with his teammates, and now kind of slid back here to this 10th position, but trying to hang on to it as a bit of a gap between himself and James Hudson, as Hudson back there in position number 11. Michael Sheffield up and into position number 12, as Tyler Chronister still in 13th. Has the 34 rider Drew King right behind him, and rounding out our top 15, it is Chris Zofeld. Zofeld there in the Tide Pods ride, rolls in that 15th position, as Scott Shive back in 16th, and then we see Daryl Johnson there in 17th, with Jaden Newson, the last driver on the lead lap here this evening, trying to keep it that way, as his teammate Gage Wenzel about 25 seconds in front of him, potentially going to be the driver to put him a lap down here today. If we do not see a caution flag, it could very much happen, putting this number 40 ride a lap down out there on the speedway. He's been consecutively laps here. He's been kind of about a second slower than our race leaders, and unfortunately that's going to bring them to his back bumper in a quick hurry. Over the next probably 5-10 laps or so, they may catch him and may put him a lap down here this evening. So that's a heartbreaker there for Jaden Newson, hoping to get a caution flag here, not wanting to go a lap down here this evening. For Max Cost, he's already a lap down. He's also hoping for that caution flag, trying to get that wave around here this evening, trying to get that lucky dog, as Jonathan Cogswell still down in out of this race, same with Zach Wilson and J.J. Moore. So some drivers, not the day that they were hoping for. For other drivers, they're just trying to keep on battling here, trying to keep themselves alive in it, and if they can get a timely caution flag, could really save their bacon here this evening. But out in front, just trying to hold all these drivers back there at bay, it is that Tom's Tasty Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches Chevrolet of Gage Wenzel. Wenzel still trying to hold off the hard-charging 9 ride of Al Likens, as Likens taking another peek down to his inside, trying to keep him back there at bay, as, man, it is getting tight up here at the front. And for Al Likens, he gets a pretty solid run down the back straightaway here. We do see that number 94 ride of Adam Bounton up and into position number 3 here as Dalton Wicker slides back to 4th. And now this is going to bring in the big question mark on when do drivers come back down pit side. We saw a lot of these drivers make it just past lap number 35. So I think the game plan is to make it to hopefully around lap number 70. We may see a few drivers come down pit side a lap or two earlier, hoping that they can use that extra little bit of time with fresh tires to their advantage to maybe leapfrog some drivers, give themselves maybe the race lead, or try to put themselves into a better position out there on the racetrack and then just try to hold on to it later on in the race. But we'll have to wait and see here. It's nice and easy down and out of corner number 3 and out of corner number 4. Gage Wenzel will lead us back down across the start-finish line, and he will complete lap number 60 here this evening. So 60 laps are done and gone here today. So 60 laps off the board here. 40 laps left to go. Can Gage Wenzel hang on to it? Can Gage Wenzel keep this race lead and keep all these drivers back there behind him at bay? Or can we see someone like Al Likens, Adam Bounton Wicker, Anthony Ludy, anyone inside our top 5 that are, within half a second of this 36 ride? Can they find that extra little bit of speed, that extra little bit of gear, that good luck to try to put themselves out in front and into the winner's circle here today? Now you do see that 36 watch up the racetrack. 9 ride takes a peek down low, hoping to get door to door with them there, trying to side draft a little bit. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get there, but going to drive it deep down into corner number 1 here for Al Likens, looking for that race lead. Gage Wenzel looking to get a big run down the back straightaway, cuts down the racetrack, looking for the drive. Unfortunately, cannot get it, but here comes a run into corner number 3. Does he shoot down to the inside? Does Likens try to hold him off there? As here we go. Big run down to the inside lane. Let's see if the 36 ride keeps his foot in that throttle. Oh, baby, it's going to get tight here off of corner number 4. Oh, they almost make contact, but luckily enough, both drivers able to avoid each other there, but they are door to door down across the line. Looks like Al Likens back out in front. So Likens now our race leader. He's getting a little helping hand here from the 94 ride of Adam Bounton. Is Bounton able to push him a little bit there into that first corner, give him that extra little bit of run, but they're still side by side for this race lead, and that is just bringing Bounton even closer. Here comes Dalton Wicker right into the fight, as well as that 95 of Anthony Ludy. Ludy had such a great run going there at Pocono. We thought he was going to find victory lane in Pocono. Let's see if tonight may be a difference maker for him. Maybe that Pocono race giving him that extra bit of motivation, that extra little bit of momentum here to maybe try to get the win here today at Michigan International Speedway. The 95 ride again has been looking very, very fast, very strong, and looking good, and looking like he's going to have a good shot, good opportunity here to maybe pick up the dub today as he continues to roll right there in that 5th position. Maybe now looking underneath of Dalton Wicker here. Is Wicker trying to hold on to position number 4 here. He was able to get such a great run and have such a great pit stop there during that first wave of green flag pit stops. Now we do see the 77 get up and scrape that outside fence ever so slightly. Hopefully no damage there through that 77 ride. Looks like that fender kind of popped back out, so hopefully it's a-okay. Hopefully no tire damage or anything that will affect his race. As Al Likens able to make that move and able to jump out in front, so Likens does have that race lead, and there is that 40 ride. We talked about Jaden Newson and how far he was off the pace here and how quickly the rest of our drivers were catching up to this ASL machine, and unfortunately, looks like he is about to go a lap down. So Jaden Newson now a lap down out there on the speedway. Maybe he can find a little gear right here, a little bit of pushing and shoving. Maybe he can jump up and help his teammate Gage Wenzel out right here. So here comes Wicker to his back bumper. Wicker able to make the move around the 94 ride, but no, looks like everyone going to drive right down underneath of him here. He's going to move up to the high side, let them go by. Does not want to play a factor in the outcome of this race. Just keeps himself out of the way. Heartbreaker there for Jaden Newson. Not the way he wanted this race to go here this evening. He wanted to be up there battling and trying to win this race over his teammate Gage Wenzel, and right now just off the pace and continue to fall farther and farther back as Al Likens out in front, down across the line. He'll click off 66 laps completed here today. So 66 laps completed. I think we're starting to get into that area where drivers are probably going to be getting that green flag here on when they need to come down pit road. If they can make it 34 laps, maybe 33, 32, somewhere to be feeling comfortable, they can probably make a little bit of an early gamble, come down pit side here in the next lap or two. That could potentially help them out, could potentially get them to the end of this race and set them up for a good finish here this evening. But we may see a few drivers elect to try to play it a little bit differently here. Maybe roll a little bit longer, try to make sure that they are good on fuel, so that way if we do go to NASCAR overtime, that they don't have to worry about making an additional pit stop late in this race, where they may give up a little time on the track here during the green flag conditions, but they may be able to leapfrog some drivers if a couple of those late race caution flags come out. They got to come down pit side. And it may open up the door for them to slide out in front, especially if we see multiple green-white checkers here this evening. But Al Likens out in front here once again. We saw him lead the first 24 laps or so of this race. Then we saw Gage Wenzel jump up out in front for a little while. Then we saw a few different drivers during our pit cycle there. And then Gage Wenzel reconsumed that race lead for virtually probably but the last 20 laps or better. And here he is, rolling there in that second spot, but it was Al Likens able to get back around him here. So it's really been Gage Wenzel and Al Likens all day at the front of the field. Wicker back up into third, though. He's making a late charge here in this race, as we do see the caution flag come out. So this is a big yellow flag. This is really going to put everyone right onto the edge of their pit cycles. It looks like Dylan Pinkelsheimer going to run into some issues here. Let's watch this 45 ride. Looks like he's trying to make his way down pit road, loses it, spins it around, and heavy hit into the inside fence, and he ends up into his teammate there as well. Big hit for the 20 ride of Jeremiah Nelson. So the 45 trying to get down pit road, unfortunately locks things up and spins down into the inside fence. The 20 ride gets into it. You see the 8 ride of that's the 8 ride of Kent Mueller, just able to avoid him there, keeping himself out of that trouble. Everyone else able to roll around him as well. But for Dylan Pinkelsheimer, I do believe this may be a night ender for him. Maybe a game over night here as well for that 20 ride, as that was a big hit there for that 20 machine as well. As let's take a look again at it. Here comes that 45 and just trying to get checked up, trying to drive it down onto the apron, and just loses the handle of this car and into this inside safer barrier. This is a big hit right there. Look at the car up off all 4 tires and washes back over pit lane right into the lap of that Interstate Batteries ride of Jeremiah Nelson. Nelson really just nowhere to go. Drives into it. Heavy damage there for him. Heavy damage for that 45 ride. And unfortunately for teammates here in the slightly dangerous crew, having some issues, and both of them now all of a sudden down pit road for an extended period of time. Let's see if we can jump on board here with this 50 or with the 20 ride of Jeremiah Nelson. See what he can see. As here he comes down pit road. He sees his teammate right in front of him. There he goes, spins it around into the wall. Then all of a sudden, right back up in front of him. Oh my! If you did not see that coming, that is a bit of a jump scare there, as I don't think he realized that his teammate was going to be spinning around like that or bouncing off that fence until all of a sudden it was too late. Here comes the 45 right back onto his lap, and really just nothing he could do with that one, man. Not enough time to even really react. Let's see if we can get another angle, and let's see if we can follow along with this car. It's going to give you a great look at it, as here comes the 45. Shoots down the racetrack, looking to make his way to pit lane. It's a little too low, spins the car around, and then bam, right there. Interstate batteries destroyed there in that wreck. Going to tow that car right down pit lane. Looked like Dylan Pickelsheimer also pitting his car as well. They're going to be down pit road for probably the rest of this race, as those green flag pit stops we were about ready to see are now going to be gone, and that will set us up here for a mid-race restart a little later in this race. But if we can see this stay clean and green, I do believe everyone at this point should be good on fuel. Nobody should have to come down pit side for an additional pit stop here this evening, or a must-need pit stop. We may still see if we get another late race caution flag or two where drivers will come down pit road and put fresh tires on. I think the fresh tires will be that much of an advantage when we have 10 laps, 15 laps of tire wear on these race cars. So we could see late race caution flags where drivers will make those pit stops here this evening, as Al Likens will stay as our race leader. Gage Wenzel there in second. Dalton Wicker back in third with Adam Boughton, Justin Hendry, Anthony Ludi there in sixth. Michael Sheffield, James Hudson, Tyler Chronister, Michael Carter rounding out our top 10. Kent Mueller there in 11th, with Darrell Johnson back in 12th. Scott Shive, Drew King, Max Koss there in 15th. Looks like Koss going to get the lucky dog and back on the lead lap. We did see Chris Zofeld and the number 40 of Jaden Newson also looking for the wave around in the lucky dogs here, trying to put themselves back on the lead lap and back into the action here this evening as well. So they're going to jump with the back of the pack, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here in just another lap or two. Alrighty, it's Al Likens out in front, continuing to lead this race. It's been Likens and Gage Wenzel pretty much all evening long, duking it out here at the front of the field. But now you kind of sprinkle in Dalton Wicker and Adam Belton, Justin Hendry up there, Anthony Ludi. A lot of fast cats still in this race, still got a shot to make some moves and maybe jump up and potentially steal this win away from the 9 ride and that 36 machine, as we'll get ready to rumble here once again from Michigan International Speedway, as the green flag about to come back out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button on the stream right now. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that share button. Hit that follow and subscribe button as we go back to green flag racing here with the Hypershift Racing League, and we're going to jump into a Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up. So crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session out there on the speedway. As out in front leading this race, it is the beautiful West Allis 77 rider, Dalton Wicker. Wicker has the race lead, looking to try to bring that car up and into victory lane. It's a shout out to my boy, Mr. Rodney Stewart. Rodney coming in with the $5 super chat here this evening. Rodney coming in showing the massive love here this evening. Says, I'm cheering on my favorite racing broadcaster. Blessings, brother. You can get that house. I appreciate that, Rodney. I appreciate that, brother. It's going to take a lot of $5 donos, though, to get me into the elite area where we can afford a house here in Canada. My gosh, brother, we are absolutely cooked. Our housing market is absolutely diabolical right now. That is for certain. As out in front, it's been an absolutely amazing race here for Dalton Wicker and trying to get that car a special paint scheme here this evening up and into victory lane, but he's still got 11 laps of work left to do here this evening. Trying to hold off Al Likens, Gage Wenzel, Adam Boughton. The rest of this field going to be no easy task here today, but Boughton did get a little bit of a lead there for a little bit, and we did see Wicker and all these drivers able to jump up there, and obviously now Wicker leading this race. He's been trying to keep a little bit of a gap between himself and that 9 ride of Al Likens. This is probably about as far away as he will probably get here throughout these closing laps. Know that there's only 10 laps left to go. He's just got to hit his marks. Cannot make a mistake. Cannot open up the door for one of these drivers back behind him to jump up here, make a move, and get around him here late in this race. He's going to have to play a lot of defense, and right there at a corner number 2, did not get a great run. Here comes the 9 ride of Al Likens. Wicker takes away the bottom lane. The 9 ride, though, up on the outside groove, looking to just keep that power down, looking to roll around the outside of the 77. Washes up the racetrack. They're going to be door to door off of corner number 4. A battle back down to the line. They're going to rub and scrub here, side drafting back down into corner number 1. Can the 77 make a big run down to the inside here? Can he find the speed that he needs to keep that 9 ride back there at bay? He may be able to slide up in front of him right now, but how much speed does he burn off here? How much speed does he give away down this back straightaway? Can the 9 ride mount another challenge to get back to his inside or to his outside to try to make another move? Here we go. The 77 just going to throw a big block there. Look to go for the middle, but the 9 ride going for the high side. 77 jumps up there, takes that lane away from him. Now we see Gage Wenzel poking his nose back into this battle. Gage now trying to work his way around this 9 ride of Al Likens, and this is exactly what Dalton Wicker needed to see. He needs to see this 36 of Gage Wenzel stick with him here and keep on battling that 9 ride. If they can start to duke it out side by side for position number 2, if they start to slice and dice it, make a little contact, slow each other up, that could open up the door enough where Dalton can build a big enough advantage that he can use it to his advantage in trying to keep all these guys back there at bay. But here comes a big run down to the inside for that 9 right of Al Likens. Wicker, though, up on the outside lane, just looking to carry so much speed and momentum down and out of corner number 4 that he can continue to have that gap, continue to have that bit of a build up here and give himself a little bit of a safety netting right there where he's got that extra gap. He's got that couple car lengths to use to his advantage out there on the speedway. As you see the 9 right of Al Likens still trying to find a way around him, still trying to find a lane to be able to get a run and be able to try to make this pass to steal this race win away from Dalton Wicker here this evening. You did see Boughton able to get around that 36 ride of Gage Wenzel. Wenzel going to look to try to get back around this 94 because he wants to be right there. He wants to be in this hunt at the front to try to pick up this checkered flag. And as they continue to battle here for that second, third, fourth position, you take a look back there in position number 5. That's Anthony Ludi there trying to hold on to a top 5. The 54 of Justin Hendry. He's right there in this mix as they're starting to reel in our top 4. They're starting to get into this battle and not too far behind them. You take a look back at James Hudson back here in 7th. Michael Sheffield there in 8th. Kent Mueller and Scott Shive rounding out our top 10 there in the 81. Slowly but surely reeling all these guys in at the front of the field as the laps continue to click down as the 77 Dalton Wicker still out in front, still holding down the top spot here. Has this 77 right at the front of the field, looking to hold these guys off and keep them back back there at bay, is down the front straightaway, able to open up at least about a 3-4 car length lead there down across the line as here comes the 94. Boughton looking to take the fight here to the 9 ride of Al Likens for position number 2 with 5 laps left to go. This is exactly what that 77 ride needs to see. Needs to see them all continue to try to pass Al Likens, have Likens hold them off, have him deal with these guys, and have to battle for that second spot on the racetrack, and just kind of allow him to run away with it. Keep them all back there at bay and not allow them to get themselves into the fight here for the first place position, and it so far has worked out perfectly for him. Huge shout out as well to Nick Miller. Nick coming in, becoming a brand new subscriber over there on YouTube as well. Nick, welcome to the Peacemaker family there on YouTube, as 4 laps left here in this one. 4 more laps here to do-si-do at Michigan International Speedway for the Hypershift Racing League. As Dalton Wicker has the race lead, he looks to keep all these guys back there at bay as Likens, Wenzel, Boughton all looking to battle to his back bumper and trying to take this race win away from the 77 ride. As here comes the 36 of Gage Wenzel. Another big run. He was able to work his way around Adam Boughton, now trying to mount another challenge, trying to get around this 9 ride of Al Likens. They scrub a little bit down into corner number 1 with only 3 laps left to go. This is just exactly what the 77 ride wants to see, and he wants to make sure that they continue to battle. Is there some contact again down and out of corner number 2? That's going to open up the door again for Boughton. That's going to hold up the 36 of Gage Wenzel. Wenzel was making some big moves right there. Looked like maybe he had the car if he could go around Al Likens to jump up and maybe battle with Dalton Wicker. I think for Al Likens, he may have burned his stuff up a little too much, just trying to hold these guys up. He had that one solid effort where he tried to take the race lead away from Wicker. After that happened, he's been playing defense since then, trying to keep Boughton, trying to keep Wenzel back there at bay, and I think he's starting to burn his stuff up now as well. And now he's just kind of more of a pylon, just more of a cushion for Dalton Wicker here to run away with this race. And down the back straightaway has about 0.4 of a second between himself and Al Likens as they head down into corner number 3. Nice and easy through 3, and now into corner number 4 as they roll back onto the throttle and back down the front straightaway. No yellow flags in sight as down across the line we will see the white flag fly. So one more time around here for Dalton Wicker as Wicker looks to try to pick up the checkered flag here this evening. 0.4 of a second down through corner 1 and 2 as the next flag will end this race no matter what. Whether it's the caution flag or the checkered flag, this race will end here on this lap as Dalton Wicker for the final time here this evening takes us down the back straightaway here at Michigan International Speedway. One more shot for Al Likens. Doesn't look like he'll be close enough to make a move. Is down and out of corner number 4. It is the West Alice 77 of Dalton Wicker who's able to find victory lane here this evening in Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for Dalton Wicker as Wicker picks up the checker flag and will pull himself up and into the Michigan International Speedway victory lane as the West Alice Community First 77 ride. Such an amazing tribute and support to his friends, his family, his community there in West Alice here this evening, riding on board with that Tiny Toes 77 ride of Dalton Wicker. And with all their love and support and the community backing this 77 ride, we see Wicker find his way up and in to victory lane. As Rodney says, called it lucky sevens. Just saying, it was definitely the lucky sevens here this evening. And Rodney, you definitely said it, brother. And the lucky sevens able to cash in and pick up a big checkered flag here this evening. Now, this may be an emotional post-race interview here for Dalton Wicker. Obviously, such a great meeting to that car, to that paint scheme, and to be able to come here, take his mind for a couple hours off of the tragedy and everything else that has happened in that community, and to be able to just come in here, focus up on this race, and then take himself up and into victory lane. Man, this is going to be an amazing, amazing night here for Dalton Wicker, and we're happy that we were able to be up here in the booth, not only just to witness it, but also to be able to broadcast it and bring it to the masses here today. Huge shout out there to Mr. Wicker on such a great run and such a great thing to support here this evening, and we love to see that car up in victory lane, as we can't wait to pull him and the rest of our top three up here into the booth for their post-race interview. Alrighty, as we'll get ready to pull them up here into the booth in just a couple seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here as Kel says that a boy. Dalton, cheering on Dalton here this evening. Dalton with a big dub here today, and we'll get ready to pull him up here into the booth as he does the Polish victory lap here this evening in Michigan. Let's get him up here right now for his post-race interview. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for Mr. Dalton Wicker. Hey, Dalton, it's Aaron up here. And Dalton, how is it, brother? We got you up here in the booth?
Yeah, buddy, what's up?
Not much, Dalton, man. What a run. What a race. Take us back through this one. It's obviously a hard-fought battle out there. A lot of laps, a lot of back and forth. But here, late in the race, you're able to get this West Alice 77 ride up and into victory lane, man. Take us through the emotions that you're feeling right now as to get to do the Polish victory lap here this evening and celebrate such an emotional win.
Dude, it's just a computer game. I shouldn't be so fucking emotional right now. It's been such a tough week, and just watching the community come together and stuff. You know, this is, like I told you, this is the first part of normal life that I've had all week. So watching people throw their homes away and having everybody go through that and just trying to help out best I can, get on here and get a win, it's like, this feels real, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely an emotional win, and obviously such a great thing to have on board with you and to support, obviously, you know, the tragedy and everything that everyone's feeling, the heartbreak that they've felt over the last week or so, including yourself and your own family, being a part of the West Alice community, having your mom run into those issues with the flooding and everything else, and having, you know, your own home be uprooted here in the last week, and having to deal with just that in its own, but then to have the community there as well, and to see other families having it worst off and having their homes completely washed away, man, has got to be absolutely heartbreaking. We don't deal with that much flooding up here in Canada, but man, I could not imagine it, and to be able to jump on here, finally get that little bit of a break, that little bit of you know, time away from it where you can kind of just sit back and relax, and then to be able to pull something off like a big win here tonight, man, it's got to be feeling something special.
Yeah, it's nice just to get a little bit of a break. It was fun. I hope I didn't get into Al too much there. I was just not going to lose this race once I got up there. So I had a fun time. I thought it was a pretty good race, and yeah, I just happy to be on here, and thanks to everybody for a good race. It seemed pretty clean.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good, hard, clean racing out there, and a lot of, you know, obviously rubbing and scrubbing, but a lot of it's just good, hard side drafting here. One of the names of the game here at Michigan, and then late in this race, after you're able to hold off that hard charge from Al, you see him having to go from playing offense, trying to take this win away from you, to now having to play defense, as he had Adam Boughton, he had Gage Wenzel, and so many of these other drivers trying to get around him, and he was kind of just that blocking car almost for you, as they could not get around him, which meant that they could not jump up and try to challenge you for the race win here this evening, man. Take us through those closing laps and what was going on through your mind, knowing that you were just trying to not make any mistakes, not give them an opening, but also at the same point in time, you're watching that rearview mirror and watching Al just hold them all back there at bay.
Those laps couldn't go quick enough. Once I got clear of him, I thought I had a little bit of a gap, and then he pulled back up. I think he was trying to take some dives there just to get to the inside and hold some air. So, you know, once I knew I was clear and he had some people to deal with there, then it just started hoping there was going to be no yellows. So really thankful that everybody kept together. That really helped. Thanks to everybody that was up front, and just throughout the night, I did have to go through the field from a penalty last week. So just everybody seemed to keep it really clean. That one was really tough. This is not my best track, but just tried to stay with it throughout. You know, come out the other side of the penalty, and then a yellow happened. So it felt like a fresh start for us early enough in the race. We could make something happen. 2 tires early, and then just re-racked with 4 there. So just a really good race. I had a great time. On to the playoffs, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. On to the playoffs, and obviously a very good win, hard-fought battle, battling back from that penalty to put yourself up here into victory lane, man. In such an emotional race for yourself, brother. Who would you like to thank here, other than the drivers here in the supporting cast this afternoon for the great hard racing out there on the racetrack, man? Who would you like to thank in your own sponsors or personal life here for your performance out there on the racetrack here tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. First, thanks to Corey. He wasn't able to make it this week, but thanks for all you do for the country. And he's on the beaches of Hawaii, so I'm sure he's not complaining. So I can't wait to get him back here. Thanks to everybody in the field, and just a reminder: go make a difference in your community. Go help. Go meet your neighbors. Help out, and they're going to be there for you as well. So treat people the right way; they'll help you back.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Dalton, heck of a run, heck of a race, man. Congratulations on the win tonight. And our hearts and our prayers go out to, you and your family and all of the community affected by the flooding there last weekend. And we hope that everyone, figures things out. Hopefully insurance helps out a little bit more, the government or somebody. And hopefully they can feel a little bit of what you felt here tonight, a little bit of a winning and a little bit of, back to normal in their lives here in the future.
Dude, peace, love, tiny toes.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there to Dalton Wicker, man. Dalton, heck of a run, heck of a race. A huge congratulations for him and, that 77 stable, man, the Tiny Toes team for a big win here this evening for Dalton, man. No better fitting driver to find victory lane here this evening, man. The storybooks, they write themselves here on Peacemaker Gaming, and we can't wait now to pull in our second place driver, the opposite side of that storyline. Our second place finisher here this evening, Al Likens. Such a strong run, such a great race here, coming home in second. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Al, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
I got a copy.
Al, man, such a great run, such a strong race all evening long for you. You're able to finish it off here with a solid second place performance, but take us back through that one, man. Obviously leading lots of laps early on this evening, and then having the race lead there for a little bit of that middle portion, and then all of a sudden late in this race, Wicker's able to get around you, jump out in front, and hold you back there at bay, and not allow you to steal this win back away from him.
I just a little bit too tight there at the end. I just need to be a little bit more freer, and I maybe would have had a chance, but running in second, it's so hard to pass. I mean, he can block you runs, and it just starts pushing towards the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. As we saw you guys battle in there, you got side by side for a little bit for that top spot late in this race, and it seemed like he was able to hold you off there. And once he kind of fell back into second, you kind of had to go from playing offense, trying to take that race lead back away from the 77, to now all of a sudden having to play a little defense there. You got Gage Wenzel go after you a couple times. You had Adam Belton there trying to get around you. You're able to hold those guys off, and doing so and keeping that second position just never allowed you to get that momentum back or the speed back that you needed to reel back in that 77 of Dalton Wicker and give it another shot to try to jump back out in front.
Yeah, at one time I thought I could possibly get the lead, but I didn't. It was just protect second at that point. I was like, don't want to lose second, but I came close a few times. But it was some good racing. I'm wore out.
Yeah, absolutely. Some very good, hard-fought racing out there, man. It was close quarters and high-speeds action here this evening at Michigan International Speedway. And, yeah, it looked like a blast out there on the racetrack, and you're able to back it up with a wonderful second-place finish here this evening. Al, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great performance here today?
I'd like to thank all my teammates at Slightly Dangerous Racing. I'd like to thank God and my family for allowing me to do this. And I'd like to thank the guys that host the league, and thank you for everything you do. Appreciate you all.
Absolutely, brother. Well, heck of a run, heck of a drive, Al. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Thursday night. Maybe one spot better and back up here on Victory Lane.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place performer here this evening, our second place driver, Mr. Al Likens. As we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, the 94 ride of Adam Belton. Hey, Adam, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yes, I do.
Adam, man, heck of a run, strong performance all evening long for that 94 ride, man. Take us back through it, and what's going through your mind right now as the smoke settles here in Michigan.
Overall, pretty solid race. Really hard to pass. So just trying to maintain track position and just try to methodically let the guys in front of me mess up and hope to capitalize on it. But unfortunately, didn't come to fruition. But overall, solid top three tonight, and a good points day to head into the regular season finale next week.
Yeah, absolutely. One race left until our playoffs get underway. And for yourself, obviously, a lot of good races, a couple wins now in the season, and obviously feeling pretty good about being in the playoffs here and trying to build that momentum up going into our first round of these playoffs, man. How does a top three like this really kind of help propel you into that higher momentum and better confidence heading into our playoffs?
It just starts to just try to start stacking some momentum here. Had a rough couple races the past few weeks, so we're starting to build a little bit of momentum. At least after these past three races, I think this is back-to-back top fours, I think. So starting to gain a little bit of momentum right at the right time.
Absolutely, maybe peaking right at the right time now, heading into our playoffs and backing it up with a solid third-place run here this evening. But take us through those closing laps. Obviously, close quarters and great battle in there between you and Wenzel, Al Likens late in this race, just dicing it up and switching positions out there, trying to get runs, trying to make moves, and falling forward, going back around gauge and everything else, man. Looked like you guys were having a blast out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, just trying to keep momentum up was the key. Anytime you got bogged down a little bit, you would just lose all momentum, and it would take like 4 or 5 laps just to get back going to the point where you attempt to make a pass. And the dirty air was awful tonight, so it's just trying to keep off of the corner and try to set up a pass and hope you can either clear the guy in front of you or get back in line after they clear you after their momentum coming off of the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot going in just to try to complete a pass or try to hold position out there on the racetrack. Tough racing here this evening, but a very solid second place run for you here tonight. Adam, who would you like to thank for another great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
I'll give a shout out to you for an awesome broadcast that you always do each and every week, and shout out to my RMS teammates, Ludi and Kent. They both scored top 10s, so pretty solid night for the RMS crew.
Beauty, great performances, great runs for you guys, and a solid top 3 run here for yourself. Adam, congrats on the great run, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth next Thursday night.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Adam Boughton, as Boughton comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for the 94 and all these amazing drivers here this evening. Man, only 2 caution flags throughout this race, non-stop good hard racing. Man, these guys put on an absolutely amazing performance for us, right from the drop of the green flag down to the checkered flag, and that was an exciting finish watching Dalton Wicker drive up to the front of the field there, take that race lead, and then put himself up and into victory lane here this evening. But we can't thank you guys enough, all the fans in the stands, for tuning in, everyone coming in with the likes, the comments, the shares. I appreciate each and every single one of you for tuning in and showing the love here this evening. Man, that was a great show and a great race, and obviously having you guys in the grandstands cheering these drivers on lap after lap after lap means the world to us. And everyone coming in with the likes, the comments, the shares, any of our new subscribers or followers, man, we can't thank you guys enough for being a part of the family here this evening. And huge shout out again to my boy Mr. Rodney Stewart, coming in with the big D of the day, the big donation there, coming in showing the love earlier with the super chat over on YouTube. Can't thank him enough, can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, and we can't wait to see you guys hopefully back up here in the live stream up in the grandstands tomorrow night. We'll be back in action here for some Friday night racing action as we got a new series starting up tomorrow evening, which is going to be another great show, another great race, and hopefully we'll see each and every one of you right back up here in the grandstands cheering on our drivers tomorrow evening. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all later. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.
Rubber burning engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hyper shift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hyper shift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a down, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a down, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hyper shift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hyper shift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no